today we're talking about emotional intelligence, which is very much about the education of children. And that flows directly into our programs in art therapy and art education. So, comprehensively, I'm interested in everything everybody has to say here. Well, this is an important conference. It's the fourth in a series that the Foundation for Human Potential has been arranging here at the Art Institute. It's a very interesting idea. It looks at the intersection between the sciences, particularly the neurosciences, and things to do with expression in the brain as we call art and music and dance and performance, etc.
Intelligence can be defined in many ways. Each of us is smart in our own way. In December 1997, the Foundation for Human Potential presented a symposium that was attended by nearly 1,000 educators and professionals. They were all interested in how the latest research on emotional intelligence and the brain may be influencing assumptions and practices in education. The day-long meetings brought together a unique guest faculty of academics and practitioners. Professor Howard Gardner of Harvard University Graduate School of Education, Professor Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, psychologist, University of Chicago, Professor Antonio Damasio, neurologist, University of Iowa, Jacques d'Amboise, founder of the National Dance Institute in New York and former lead principal dancer of the New York City Ballet, Professor Kay Redfield Jamison of Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, Department of Psychiatry, and Professor Joseph LeDoux, NYU Center for Neuroscience. This videotape, SMARTS, introduces you to a few of the people and ideas that the Foundation for Human Potential believes are critical as we question our assumptions and plan for the future of our educational system.
Superficial measures as IQ, grades, SAT scores provide limited predictive value in terms of who makes meaningful contributions to humanity.
That the notion of there being a single virtue called intelligence is it's an intellectual dodge of a whole variety of capacities, which I think properly should be differentiated from one another.
Our school is founded on the idea of multiple intelligence and all of Dr. Gardner's work, and we've been working together for 5 years implementing it. It was a chance for us all to see him together, so we thought it was well worth the trip for our in-service this year.
It's sort of like climbing the mountain to see your guru.
Tell us what a school is that's founded on multiple intelligence.
Well, it's a school that pays equal time in the curriculum to all the different aspects of the intelligences that he has identified, not just verbal and math like we've traditionally done. So many of us have 25 years of experience of teaching in more traditional schools, and we've taken this opportunity to work in a school that emphasizes music and bodily kinesthetic and interpersonal and intrapersonal, and naturalistic and spatial intelligence, as well as verbal and math intelligence.
Does it work?
We think so. We're only 5 years into it, so.
I teach the preschool, and so I have children 2.5 through 5. And what happens there is that the younger children see the modeling of the older children, and those children that are capable of working at a higher level then choose to do that and see themselves as success there. The other situation that might occur are the children who are older, who are yet not developmentally ready to do some of the higher functions, see themselves as being part of a group that's ranges from all, on a continuum, a developmental continuum. So they see themselves successful in that classroom, and they continue to strive in order to succeed. We don't have a high failure rate in that situation.
Sounds like you don't have a lot of assumptions about what they can and can't do when they walk in.
The only assumption that we have is that they can do whatever they can do as long as it's there for them to do it.
In fact, we have children that will literally cry when their parents pick them up and say, "I want to stay at school, please let me stay at school." Now that's a change.
And we all know that there are some kids about whom hyperactivity or attentional deficit disorder is easily issued as a label, who will spend hours at a computer terminal playing video games or things like this. And I think some of the societies which are much less likely to endorse those labels actually end up having less manifestations of the pathology than those in which it becomes something to look for, and alas, as Kay was describing, often an easy way to get rid of a problem, because it's easy to give somebody a pill than to think very hard about things that can go on in the classroom or in any kind of environment which is engaging and stimulating and which encourages you to focus your attention rather than to diffuse it.
We have a school in New York, the Idelson School, and it's for emotionally disturbed children. And one of our board members secretly, anonymously underwrote that school, so we would have a dance program in that school. Maybe about 8 years now. Now these children, there's about 30 or 40, they live in that school 24 hours a day. Then there's another maybe 30 or 40 that come and stay, but they have some kind of home they can go to. These are very, very disturbed, emotionally charged, stressed children. Attention span is about 15 seconds on most of them. The staff is almost one-on-one. There was this little boy, I can't remember his name, I think it was Michael. Michael. Beautiful little boy, pale white skin, about 11. Thin, few little freckles, and piercing blue eyes. And we have these children, I'd say, can you bring that class down of 5 or 6 children and bring those 4 or 5 over here? And we would try and start a dance class with them. And it would be hard, the first class, just to get them up off the chair or the floor or climbing the wall. And Michael would, and I said, what's your name? And the teacher came over and said, oh, he doesn't speak, but his name is Michael. And I said, hi, Michael. And he gives me a hand and a kind of smile, and he's ground his teeth away. He has a big gap in his teeth. I'm grinding. Now, we start a step. Can anybody, well, first of all, I have to take the magic chalk. Make a circle. This is my space. I put my initial in. Here, take the magnet. You put yours. Here. Everybody, look in your pocket. You'll find a piece of chalk. So they all make a circle. Can you jump out of it? Jump back in. Do like I did. Oh, but you went to the left. I went to my right. Oh, but you didn't lift your legs. Right? Finally, I get them doing it. Michael is trying. Not only trying, he's the best. Right? No one can believe it, that he's spending that much attention. When he was about 2, he was in a crib.